You already know who it is. It's your girl Sugar and I back with the Need Some Sugar podcast. Now, I do want to give a trigger warning. In this episode, I will be talking about trauma, abuse, and sexual assault. So, if you feel like that is a trigger for you, please do not continue listening to this episode. If you want to dive deep with me and get to know me a little bit more and, hear the details and stories from my childhood, then stick along, stay on course with me. And, there might be some cuts in this episode because I might, get emotional or things like that. So just stick with me, y'all, because this was very hard for me to decide to do. Like, I don't believe in putting your business on the internet, but I do believe that getting it out will somehow make me feel better. Some piece of me inside still needs to like heal from this. So I feel like me actually talking about it and putting my story out there will kind of help me with that. So, fuck it. Here we go. All right. So, first, I want to start out with who was in my household growing up. So, it was my mother, my stepfather, and my three younger siblings from, of course, my mother. I have two younger brothers and a younger sister. So, that's who all was in the household growing up. So, my childhood, I would say, was I guess the best that it could be. Um and the only reason why I'm saying that is because I went through a lot of stuff, a lot of traumatic stuff and abusive stuff, but I feel like certain members in my family also tried their best. Like they saw what I was going through somewhat. They didn't know everything, but they knew some of it. So some of them tried to like make me feel better in their own ways. Um See, I'm already about to start crying. What the fuck? I'm not gonna cry, y'all. All right. So, growing up, my stepfather was very abusive mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally, any type of abuse you could think of. He was that. And I don't know why. Well, for a long time, I didn't know why, right? I just always had these bad stories about this man. And it's like I never took the time to actually dig deep and think, like, why did he treat me like that? Like, what did I do to him? So, in my opinion, one day I thought about, what could be the most reasonable explanation for why he kind of treated me like shit growing up. So people who knew me growing up, like they kind of knew that my stepdad was an asshole. They saw the things that I went through a little bit from the outside looking in, but they didn't really know what was really going on inside. Like, of course, I'm a kid, so when I had the chance to go outside, or if I was allowed to, I would go outside and tell my friends like, yeah, so and so is like I just got my phone taken away because of you know how kids, we just go outside and complain about our parents or whoever is watching us. So that's what that was. But my friends also did get a little glimpse of what was going on with me inside my household. So before I continue with this episode, I do not want anyone listening to this to be like, oh, well, where was so and so? Well, what did so and so do? What did your blah 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 do? What did your blah 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 do? And what did this person say? This episode is not about that and not about them. I just want to make that very clear. I don't want to hear anything about where was this person, where was that person. Everybody was where they was supposed to be because I guess this was God's plan for me. So everybody was exactly, I guess, where they supposed to be. So please do not ask me where they was at. um, so my stepdad was, physically abusive towards me growing up. And it was outside of just disciplining a disrespectful or mouthy child, which, if I actually thinking about it now, I wasn't very disrespectful or mouthy. He just was full of shit and I caught it every fucking time. Now that I'm an adult and I'm really thinking about my actions as a child and he was full of shit and nothing he said really, really made sense if you actually thought about it. Like he one of them people that just keep talking so that you can forget what he said a minute ago, so you don't go back and ask him about that because he know that it didn't make sense. So he hurry up and say a whole bunch of other words and try to sound smart so that you don't realize what he said was a crock of shit. But I'm a kid and I can tell this about him, right? For the very longest, I've always been very analytical of every situation. I'm very observant, and I think that's where it came from. Like probably one day I caught on to that shit and I'm just like, let me watch this nigga. And ever since then, it's like every time he talked, I just felt like he was full of shit. I'm like, why do people like this man? Like, he's a liar. He's like cocky and self-centered. This is before I knew the word narcissist. But that's the best way to describe him. Like, he's never wrong. There's nothing that he's done wrong. You're the problem. Woo, whoa, it's me. Oh my God, remember my grandma passed away, so feel bad for me. Like it used to be stuff like that, like using stuff that he went through just so everybody can feel bad for him and just to make a excuse for why he's a shitty motherfucking individual today. Now, for those of you listening already and wondering, have I forgave this man? No. That's why I said today I have to heal a part of me that needs healing because I listen, this came about because my mom told me that he was coming down to see my nephew. Now, of course, y'all know, the family tree. My nephew is his grandson. So my mom's like, oh, he's coming down to see blah 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 and the baby and blah blah blah. So I said same thing like last time because he came down not too long ago. I said same thing like last time. Just let me know when he's gonna be over there, so I'm not over there. And I guess from my mom and my sister's perspective, because either these are the two people I said that to. I guess from their perspective, like they thought that it was probably just like, oh, Nana don't like him. They never got along, blah, blah, blah. Like she don't want to be around him, like on some petty shit. Like, no, this is on some real life. Like, I don't know what I would do if I saw that man. So my best bet is to stay away. I don't know if I'm gonna cry, run, fight. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I see him because I have all these built up emotions that I've never truly gotten out to anybody. So it's like, because some of the things I'm gonna say in this podcast, some of my closest friends, I just told them yesterday, and I've known them for years. So I wanted to get this out because I'm like, the fact that he keeps coming around more. In my head, I had this sense of you keep fucking showing your face, my nigga. Like what are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove? Like you have the nerve to keep showing your face. And I know from the outside looking in, y'all like, well, you did just say he going to see his grandson and yada yada yada. Like, no, it don't feel like a grandfather just coming to see his grandson, his first grandson, and his first and only grandson. It don't feel like that. It feel like he got other shit going on and he know it don't look good if he don't contact his kids while he's in the same area as them. And now that he has a grandson, it definitely won't look good if he doesn't contact his daughter to see his grandson and he doesn't live in the state. But anyway, it just was when my mom told me that, I just was like he keeps having the nerve to show his fucking face. Like I don't know, it's just something in me like, yo, he must want you to spaz out or something. Like that's really how I was thinking. I said he really must want me to spaz out a little bit, like, and this is not on no shit like, oh, he's intentionally thinking this or doing this to fuck with me. I'm just saying me. I'm like, yo, this nigga wants to get cussed out because he just keeps coming around, right? So, like, that's what I just wanted to say that to, um, just to explain what brought up me wanting to talk about this and the emotions that I'm experiencing. Like, y'all, I've been emotional for the past like 3 or 4 days. And it's like at the drop of a fucking hat, I will cry. I'm getting a little teary eyed right now because it's just so many fucking emotions, you guys. Like, it's so many emotions that I'm going through right now or that's like happening all at once. I can't even stop myself from crying. Like I can't stop myself from crying. Like I gotta just let it happen. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, I feel like a bad person because I feel like I've been being a bitch to people and it's not me being a bitch. It's really me putting my foot down and keeping it down. Like I was asking myself, like, why are you so emotional about all this? And it's just like, you've never dealt with it. Like, I think about it sometimes and I just like hurry up and stop thinking about it. So I know people are wondering, why did I decide to start talking about this? Well, the other day I got a phone call from my mom and she was like, we were just talking about regular stuff. And then she was like, yeah, so and so's coming down here. And he came down here not too long ago. And I thought it was just to see my nephew, which is his grandson, of course. Um, and I honestly, he hadn't been around in years before that. So I thought it was going to be one of them things where he comes around every couple years. So when my mom told me the other day that he's on a plane currently on his way here, I was like, well, meaning that day that she told me. But something just clicked in my brain, y'all, and there's like no other way for me to describe it or say it other than a switch went the fuck off in my head. Like I was I was perfectly fine. And then once she said that, it's like something evil in me and hateful in me was like, you have the nerve to keep showing your fucking face, like knowing the piece of shit that you are. You keep coming around my fucking family. I thought you were fucking gone. Like, and him keep coming back. Really, I know that is my three younger siblings. That is their father. I know that they deserve to have a relationship with their dad. I'm not mad at that. I'm never going to try to stop that at all. Right. But it's just for me, I told my mom, hey, when he goes to the house to see the baby, please let me know so I don't go. I said the same thing the last time he was down here. I'm not for the drama and the beef. And to be honest with y'all, like I said before, I don't know what I would do if I saw him. Like, I have so much anger and hatred and just like disgust for him. I don't want to be around him. His energy, his evil energy was the first energy I've ever felt in my life to be dark and sad and miserable and stuck. And it just didn't feel right. I'm gonna just get on to, some stories. Like I said, I'm not gonna go blow for blow because I'd be here for 40 days and 40 nights telling y'all almost everything I can remember that he did to me when I was a child. So I'ma just think of the big shit, certain shit that I can like, show y'all. Like the first one is I have a scar on my bottom lip on the left, no, on the right. Um, it's on the bottom right side of my lip, and it's a small scar. It's not a big noticeable one like I got cut. But if you look close enough, you'll see it's a scar on my lip, and I got that from when I can't tell you exactly what age I was. I probably was between the ages of like 9, 10, 11, 12, like one of those years where it's like I was developing, but I wasn't, like I was still a little girl. But he had punched me in my mouth, and he punched me in my mouth because he was walking around the house talking on the phone to somebody. I'm in my room. I was always in my room. I never wanted to be near him, but we'll get into that later. So I was in my room. I think I was watching TV. Growing up, me and my brother, before my little sister was born, and even after she was born, because she was in my mom and them's room for a little minute. Me and my brother, we shared rooms, and we had our own everything on each side of our room: our own bed, our own TV, our own game cubes, our own everything. Like we had our own dressers. Like it was like two rooms just in one space because we had our own shit going on each side, but we each had identical items. Besides, he was a boy and I'm a girl, so we had our little shit. But that was the, setup of the house. So he was walking around the house talking on the phone, and really wasn't paying attention to what he was saying because I didn't give a fuck. And the longer he's not paying attention to me, the better. I used to hate when he had to talk to me because I knew it was some bullshit every time. So he started walking up the steps, and that's when like he got louder because he was getting, closer to the room. So that's when I started to pay attention to what he said because, like I said, at first it was like muffled. I wasn't paying attention to it. So I'm listening to him talk. Like the thing that made me really hone in is he said my mom's name, and then he was like, he went in the room and closed the door, but it sounded like he was upset. So at first I thought he was like arguing with my mom because they always was arguing and fighting and shit. I thought he was just arguing with my mom, so I just ignored it again. But then he came out the room and started walking back and forth a little bit in the hallway, and I noticed he wasn't talking about my mom because then he started saying, "Yeah, that bitch and she did it." So I'm like, "Oh, he's talking about my mom to somebody on the phone." Wow. Let me try to remember everything he's saying because I'm gonna tell my mom, like, "Hey, he was on the phone talking to you, talking to whoever, saying this, and that." Like I was gonna tell my mom, right? So, he started walking downstairs, but when he walked downstairs, that's when I pulled out a notebook and a pencil, and I started listening. Like I put like my ear to the floor and I started listening to everything he was saying. And y'all, I was writing everything down. And then he said, and then he said, and then he said, blah 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 blah. So I'm so focused on hearing everything he say. I'm a kid. So I don't think and notice that he starts walking up the steps. when I finally noticed, like, damn, he's up the steps. He was at the top of the step, but then I heard him go into him and my mother's bedroom. So I'm like, okay, I could still keep writing because he still was talking shit. So I'm still writing. I'm still writing. I didn't notice that he was walking toward, like, mind you, the hallway space between my mother's bedroom and my bedroom. Now, y'all know the Philadelphia Village 2-bedroom apartments. Them doors is not far apart from each other in them little ass hallways. So it didn't take him long. It took, and then he's a little tall. So it probably took him 2 strides and he was at my door. So he opens the door and I, instead of just flipping to another page or acting like I'm drawing, I try to hide it. Of course, that's obvious. Duh. So he was like, "What was that?" I was like, "Nothing. My notebook from school. I was just drawing because I'm bored. Like, there's nothing on TV. Like, I came up with a bullshit ass joke." So he was like, "No, you're lying." And he got the notebook and he read it and he opened it right to the fucking page where I was, you know, ratting him out. And I had the tapes on him and he had to get rid of the tapes. So he grabbed it. He was like, "You was listening to my motherfucking conversation." Da, da, da. Started, like, getting big with me. And then, y'all, he just punched me square in my mouth. Square in my fucking mouth. Of course, I was crying and, you know, it was a bloody situation. My lip was busted, right? So the dramatic stop, and by I mean dramatics, I don't mean I was being dramatic. I'm just saying, like, me crying and him telling me to shut up, and then me finally just going in my room and sitting down and waiting for my mom to get home, because I'm telling my mom when she get home, but I was a little scared. I was, like, scared that he would try to, like, argue or fight with my mom and stuff, and I'm like, she just got home from work, like, I don't want to be the drama. And I think that's why I am the way I am, in my adult life. Like, I don't ever want conflict or anything like that. Like, I want everything to be smooth because I don't do well in conflict. I get very jumpy, very nervous, and very angry. So I like to keep everything calm. So, I was like, I have to figure out a way to tell my mom. And I'm like, no, I need to figure out a way to tell my abuela. So, um, my mom had got home from work and she went, got in the shower and got in her room and, relaxed for the night because she used to work 3 to 11 and stuff like that. Sometimes she worked 11 to 7. So my mom was always working. So I'm like, she's tired or whatever, but I want her to see my lip, but I don't want to just walk in there and say, "Hey, mom, look, so and so punched me in my face." I was too scared to do that. So I kept going to the bathroom. I kept getting up and acting like I was going to the bathroom. And I'm like, I know eventually my mom is going to be like, "Girl, which one of y'all keep going to the fucking bathroom? Like, go to bed. You got school." You know what I mean? Like some shit like that. So I wanted to get in trouble with my mom. Like, I wanted my mom to yell at me so that she could see my face. So she finally was like, "Nana." I said, "Huh?" She said, "Come here. Why do you keep going to the bathroom? What's wrong? You okay?" Like, she was asking me, like, "What, you shitting or something like that?" But I walked in her room and she said, "What the fuck happened to your face?" Because my lip, when I tell y'all, my lip was on swole. My lip was so swollen. My lip was so bad. Like, it like, no little girl should ever go through that. And listen, my mom was like, "What the fuck happened to your lip?" So I just looked down, like, because he was downstairs. I just looked, like, my eyes downstairs or down so she could know I was talking about, the man downstairs. Like, your boyfriend punched me in my mouth. Like, and he got my mouth looking like this. I'm your daughter. I'm your young daughter. Yes. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at my mom like, yes, this thing, he really did this shit. And she went downstairs, spazzed out. They argued for a while. I think he lied and said I was being disrespectful or something like that. And she asked me what was I doing? Like, what was I doing? I said he was talking about you on the phone to whoever he was on the phone with. And I started writing it down so I could tell you because he was talking bad about you. So he like, "She's lying. She was being disrespectful, blah, 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 blah." So it was always I was lying and I was being disrespectful. So that's how their arguments ended, with me being the one still in trouble because he would, like, really convince my mom that I was just a bad kid. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, I don't want anybody to be like, "Oh, well, where was her mom?" He was manipulating my mother. Like, I don't care what nobody says. She might get upset that I said that, but that was my very first form of manipulation right in front of my face. Like, he knew how to pick his words, form his sentences. He knew how to talk so that people would, he would capture someone's attention. And like I said, he one of them people that try to talk fast so you don't question the last sentence he said, because by the time you think of the question and what don't make sense, he already a paragraph in. Like, he going. And now you trying to be respectful and catch up to the conversation. You done forgot the question you was gonna ask. Like that, like, nigga, I saw you. Even as a fucking child, I saw that about you. Anyway, so my mom and him was arguing, and my mom did kick him out that night. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe my mom did kick him out that night. And um I was like happy. I thought like their relationship was over and no more mean stepdad. Like, we're good. You know what I mean? We're about to be happy again and blah blah blah. So 2 days later, he comes back. He probably whispered sweet nothings in my mom's ear. Probably said he was gonna apologize to me and blah 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 blah. I think he did apologize to me, but y'all, I didn't fuck with that nigga at all, and he felt that, and I felt that he didn't fuck with me back. Like, I really didn't fuck with him for real, for real. So that was one instance. So one time, a friend of mine, I hope she doesn't mind me using her name, but a friend of mine named Destiny, she was waiting outside for me in the morning so that we could walk to school together. And I had opened the big door and I had left the screen door, closed, just so I could tell her, like, I'll be right there, because she had knocked on the door and she was waiting for me outside. So, I opened the door, let her know I'll be right there, but still had the screen door closed so she could see, like, I am coming. I forgot exactly what my stepdad yelled at me about, but it was always me not doing something, me not doing the dishes or cleaning the bathroom or cleaning my room, or I got in too late last night, or he found out that I had a MySpace or a Facebook. Like, it always was something I was getting in trouble for. Like, I was like the worst kid in his eyes. So I think I didn't wash a pot in the sink. You know how sometimes when you wash the cooking pots, you gotta soak them because some shit be stuck on them. So I think it was a pot in the sink, and he was like, "Why you gotta wash the dishes and you leave dishes in the sink?" I'm like, because that one needed to soak. And he was like, it didn't need to fucking soak. You just lazy. Like, so I just was like, okay, I'll do it. Like, I was like, Destiny's outside waiting for me. Like, I'll do it when I get home. He was like, that's your problem now. You think you grown. You think you gonna do stuff on your own time. Da, da, da. And in my head, I'm like, my nigga, I don't have time to do it right now because I have to go to middle school. Can I go to middle school? Can I walk to middle school and then wash the pot by the time I get home? And if you was a real nigga, you would have fucking washed it your goddamn self instead of making your stepdaughter late for fucking school because you want to yell at me and have a power trip with your crackhead ass at fucking 7:30 in the morning. I digress. So this is why that nigga couldn't get in the room with me today, because I would rip him the fuck up. He wouldn't even be able to talk to me the way he used to talk to me. But anyway, I I said, like, I'll do it when I get home. So he got all big chested and like, that's your problem now, blah 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 blah. And he ended up flipping me over the fucking couch, like flipping me smooth over the couch, my book bag on my back and everything, my coat on. He flipped me right over the couch. And y'all know what I did? I got up, got myself together, and I just walked outside. I walked right past my friend Destiny and said, like, not past her, but I walked next to her and said, "You ready?" Like, I walked out the door like nothing just fucking happened. I said, "You ready to go to school?" We walk into school like everything is fine. We laughing about shit. We blah 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 blah. Then out of nowhere, she just asked me. She was like, "Nana." I was like, "Huh?" She said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She said, "So and so just, like, I just saw what happened, like, at your house. Are you okay? You just came outside and was like, 'You ready?'" And I was like, "Yeah, he always do stuff like that." I was like, "I fucking hate him." Like, I said some shit like that and just kept it like, y'all, from a child, I've been like literally pushing my feelings to the side. Like, nothing was I wasn't telling the truth when I told her, yeah, I was okay and nothing was wrong. Bitch, I was embarrassed, I was mad, I was upset, I was sad, I was disappointed. Like, I had all these emotions going on, but I had to act like I was okay because one, crying in front of him wasn't any better. Two, I wanted my mom, but she was at work. So it's not like my mom could step in and say, leave her alone or go ahead to school now, I'll wash it or something like that. Like, so it's like I had to put my emotions to the side and just be happy and go outside and just walk to school. And happy. I honestly feel like I walked outside and I was just happy to be outside because I was happy to be away from him. Like, yes, I was hurt, angry, upset, but I also wasn't faking the fact that I was happy to be outside. Like, bitch, I don't want to talk about what just happened to me. Let's talk about some funny stuff and let's walk to school because I'm away from that man until I get out of school. And by the time I get out of school, my mom will be home from work. So I don't have to be. I used to hate being in the house with just him and my siblings. Like, not and not my siblings, because it never really was a situation where it was just me and him in the house. So I just hated when it was just my siblings and him. I like no. Anytime he was not at the house, I loved. Anytime I was not at the house, I loved. Cause one thing, I'm not his child, so he treated my siblings way better than he treated me. Like, I was like the ugly stepchild growing up. Not that I was actually ugly, but that's how I felt like he treated me, like his ugly stepchild, and he don't fuck with me and he hates me and he could give a fuck about me, right? And his actions showed that every day. I'm not gonna lie, there were certain days where he was nice to me, but it was fake as hell. It was fake as hell. It was either when a family member of his came over or a friend, or if my mom was like really home, you know, not just, getting ready for work or coming home from work where she's tired or she has something to do or she's cooking. Like, literally, I used to love the days where my mom was just home because he wouldn't be mean to me those days. Like, those days he'd be kind of nice to me. There were a couple times where he spoke out of the side of his mouth in front of my mom, and I feel like my mom could have did something about it, but maybe she did something about it behind closed doors. But whatever the fuck she was telling him and yelling at him about, he didn't give a fuck because he said to my mom right in front of both of us that he can't stand that fat bitch, and he was talking about me. He threatened to get some of his little cousins to fuck me up and a whole bunch of shit. I used to always get my phone taken away, y'all. I used to fucking always be on punishment. Like, I did not actually start really living until I moved with my grandmother. And he was the sole reason why my mom didn't let me move with my grandmom, because he convinced her that if I moved with my grandmom, I was going to be pregnant and I was going to be grown. So it's like, I understand from y'all standpoint, y'all probably like, well, at the end of the day, she's still the mom, so she makes a decision. But imagine that dynamic where this man that you're with, yes, he's not your oldest child's father, but he is your three youngest children's father, and y'all have been together for so long. Like, he kind of is like, in her mind, I feel like she felt like he was like my dad, so he had like authority or say over me being raised, like where I was living, what I was doing. Like, so she did respect and listen to his opinions of, raising me. So I asked her, could I move with her? My grandma asked, could I move with her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let Naisha move with me. Da, da, da. My mom would say, no, mom, blah, 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 blah. And at first it was always just no, no, I want my kids all with me. Like, it was stuff like that. But then one day my mom was like, no, because if you go over there, you're going to think you grown and blah, blah, blah. And mind you, this is some of the same stuff that my stepdad had said to me, like during one of our little back and forths. So I'm like, that's him. Like, if my mom really like didn't listen to his opinion at all, she would let me move with my grandma. Like, she knows. I used to always be with my fucking Willa. Y'all know that. Anybody from Egg Harbor City knows that I used to always be with Sarah. I was Sarah's fucking baby. And I feel like my grandma knew some of the stuff that I was going through with my stepdad. She really didn't like him. But my grandma knew some of the things I was going through with my stepdad. So I think my grandmom's way of showing me she was there for me was to buy me stuff. Like, and cook and get my favorite snacks. And like, I'll say I want a laptop, she got me a laptop. I say I want Uggs, she got me Uggs, like immediately too. It's not like I gotta wait mad months. Like, my grandma got me a laptop almost the day after I told her which one I wanted, and she got the bigger one. Like, I think I pointed out like a little 12-inch HP laptop. She got me the 15-inch laptop. Like, I wanted some black Uggs, the cheap ones. She got me the tall black Uggs. You know how fucking expensive those ones are. I think they're like $200 something. Like, so I feel like my grandmom's way. That's why I said in the beginning also that I feel like certain family members of mine tried to do their best without really knowing. Like, they knew some of it, like they knew me and my stepdad didn't get along, but they didn't know all of what was going on with me and my stepdad. And some of it came because of me. Like, I didn't tell nobody. I was scared. I didn't want, like, my mom to be mad. I didn't want anybody to be fighting and hooting and hollering, because it's like my stepdad always was fighting and hooting and hollering with me or my mom. So it's like I don't want to continue that, like, because I know if I tell y'all what's going on, y'all gonna get mad, y'all gonna confront him, or y'all gonna yell at my mom or argue with my mom. My mom's not just gonna stay yelled at, she's gonna argue back with y'all. I don't want all that no more. Like, I go through that almost every day. I don't want all that. So like, if you're wondering, like, why didn't you just tell your uncles and your dad and all these people, it's just like, because I knew what would come with that, and I didn't want that to happen. Like, I just really just wanted my stepdad to be gone. I wanted him and my mom to break up, and for him to never come back to Jersey and just go to hell somewhere. Like, honestly, that's how I felt. Um so the last story I told y'all, he flipped me over the couch. So yeah, Destiny was like, "Nah, are you okay?" Like, now today when we talk about it, we laugh because it's like some funny traumatic shit. Like, bitch, I just watched your stepdad flip your big ass over the fucking couch, and you come galloping and fucking skipping outside like Mary Poppins and say, "Come on, let's go to school." Like, nothing just happened to you, you crazy bitch. Are you okay? so like so me and Destiny, every time we talk about it, like, we laugh or whatever. And it's like, I'm at a point where I can laugh about that, because I'm just like, yo, dude, you really are shit. You really are a piece of shit. Like, you really did like, this man really. I think a lot of my emotions also are coming from the fact that like, really realizing that this man really, I really went through all this. Like, this is not a story that somebody told me. This is not a movie that I'm watching. I really went through all of this, and I still came out the shit. Like, I came out being number fucking one. Like, in my world. Like, it's like I had to talk with myself, like, yo, nah, you went through all of this, and look who the fuck you are today and what you made happy. And honestly, this is the only thank you that nigga will get ever from me. Thank you for treating me like shit growing up, because now I don't put up with shit from nobody. Can't nobody talk to me crazy. Can't nobody do no bullshit to me. You told me I wasn't going to be shit, and you told me I'll be pregnant by the time I'm 16. I had a special needs fucking kid, and I've been holding it the fuck down ever since. I've been fucking big mama since I was fucking in your care. Like, I really grew up to be an amazing fucking woman. And that part of that is because of you. So I want to say thank you, because I vowed to never be a shitty fucking person like you. I said I would never allow no man to treat my daughter the way you treated me. I would never allow no man to treat me the way you treated my fucking mother. I would never favorite none of my fucking kids like I saw you do. So it's like, I learned from your mistakes. Thank you so much for the many mistakes I got to learn from. So speaking of him favoriting other kids over, anybody else in the household, I knew I came last on the list. Like, I came after fucking dogs and shit. Like, I knew I was at the bottom of his give a fuck list. Okay. He probably cared a little bit more about dog shit than he cared about me. So his favorite child, I feel like, growing up, was my sister. So me and my sister, when we moved when me and my brother shared a room, that's when we had lived in a 2-bedroom. We had moved to a 3-bedroom, and my youngest brother had been born around that time, and my other little brother, he had his own room, and then me and my little sister had shared a room, even though I was like 9 years older than her. Like, I forgot, I don't know how I'm like almost 10 years older than my sister. But yeah, I'm like 9 years older than her. So, but we shared a room because we're the girls. Whatever, didn't bother me. I always had some headphones in, or listening to music. So I really didn't care. My little sister she loved her dad, so she was always up under his ass anyway, or my mom. So I was in the room by myself most of the time anyway. So I digress. One day we're all downstairs pretty much. My sister goes upstairs. She said she had to use the bathroom or something like that. So she goes to the bathroom, comes back downstairs, nothing. I think we keep watching the show or the movie, and then her dad starts to smell what now I knew to be burnt carpet, but he started smelling, like a fire smell. So he runs upstairs, he goes in all the rooms, like, he opens all the doors, closet door, bathroom, like trying to figure out where the smell coming from. Then he opens my room, our room door, and he was like, "What the fuck is this? I almost burnt the fucking house down." And he runs downstairs and starts yelling at me. He starts just going off on me, y'all. He starts saying, "You're so stupid. Why the fuck would you drop the lamp on the carpet? You could have burnt the fucking house down." Like just going off on me. So I looked at him and I was like, and I think another thing that bothered him is he didn't really shake me. Like I looked at him and I was like, I didn't even go. I've been sitting down here with you. I didn't go upstairs. Shaylin went upstairs. And he was like, there you go, always talking back, blah, 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 blah. Like, same stepdad rhetoric, like talking back, disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. Because he knew he was wrong, but he could not look stupid. So he took my phone from me and he told me I was on punishment, couldn't go outside, and blah, 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 blah. So as I'm walking up the steps to go in my room, I turn around and I look at him and I was like, "So you're not even gonna ask Shaylin if she dropped the lamp?" So he was like, "BB," because that's the nickname he used for my little sister growing up. He was like, "BB, you dropped the lamp on the floor." Mind you, I think at this time my sister's like 4 or 5, maybe 3, 4, 5. Like my sister was like a little kid, so she looked scared and she was like, "Yeah." And he didn't react to her like he reacted to me, and I didn't expect him to, because like I said, she still was a little kid. So he was like, "Oh, BB, it's okay, but you can't do that. You could start a fire." That gentle parenting shit that people do nowadays. That's what he did with my little sister. Like he just told her it was okay. He wasn't mad. Like, just next time, be careful. You could burn the house down and we won't have nowhere to live. Like explaining to her the consequences of her actions, right? Cool. I'm not mad at that. But once you realize that I didn't do what I just got in trouble for, can I have my phone back and can I go outside? So, like I said, he didn't want to look fucking stupid and he's a fucking narcissist. So he's like, "No, because you forgot to clean the bathroom and you done went outside yesterday." Like he came up with some fucking story on why I still couldn't have my phone and why I still couldn't go outside. So whatever. My mom got home. I explained to her what happened. She got me my phone back like the next day. He was talking about keeping it for mad long. My mom ended up giving it back to me the next day, but that was always an occurrence with me, y'all. He always would take my fucking phone away, and my mom would always give it back to me, but she would allow him to like still take it away from me and tell her that, oh, she was on the phone and she's supposed to be asleep. Like, y'all, he literally used to he used to creep in my brother's room, because my brother's room and me and my sister's room shared a wall, right? And my bed was on along that wall. He literally used to creep from downstairs or from my mom's room. He used to creep so I couldn't hear him. I'm a kid. I'm like 16, 15, 16. I'm on the phone. Like, I know I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I'm on the phone. He used to literally creep up the steps and into my brother's room and put his fucking ear on the wall to see if I was on my phone. Because, y'all, when I tell y'all, I would be fucking whispering. Like, I would be whispering so low, like, even, and I still wouldn't hear him creeping up the steps. That nigga was moving like a fucking cat. Okay. And shout out to him, because instead of being a deadbeat piece of shit, he should have been a ninja or a fucking special ops fucking army person. But no, you want to be a fucking piece of shit stepdad and fuck with little girls. Like, and by fuck with little girls, I mean, like, being mean and stuff. But he used to creep up the steps, put his ear to the wall, and like try to hear me breathe. And he would bust in the fucking room and be like, "I knew you was on the phone." Now, mind you, one time I really was not on the phone. Like, I really was asleep. I was dead sleep. And he bust in the room, woke me up. Mind you, my phone is under my pillow. So once he like woke me up, he said, "I knew you was on the fucking phone." I was like, "No, I was just asleep." And he still would take my phone. Like, I always used to get my phone taken away. My friends, especially from high school, like ninth grade, would tell you, like, I could never go nowhere for real. I never had my phone. I was happy, but I could never really do anything with them because I wasn't allowed to. Like, he really put it in my mom's head that if she let me do these activities like going skating, going bowling, going to the movies, going to the mall. Like if she let me do that too often, I would turn into a fast little girl and I would be pregnant. You don't want your daughter to be pregnant at 16. So he filled my mom's head up with all this negative stuff about me. But I think as the years went on, my mom realized like, no, I raised a very responsible daughter. And also, I want to say thank you, like I said earlier, because you doing that made me destined and determined to never be how you said I was going to be. Okay? Never be that fucking way. I was destined and fucking determined to not turn out like the piece of shit you wanted me to be. Cause it's like he never had no hopes and dreams for me or nothing positive to say about me growing up. Like it's like he always said, no, you let her go outside, she's gonna get pregnant. No, she's gonna think she's fast. No, she's gonna be like so and so daughter or so and so daughter, and she like so and so son. And I saw her around the corner with them boys, and yeah, it's niggas I grew up with. What the fuck, my nigga is Doughboy and Quad and them, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about, bitch? Like, these is like my brothers. You telling my mom I'm outside with boys, and then when I tell her I'm outside with fucking Doughboys, she like, oh, he made it seem like he was like in the woods or something. I'm like, no, I was outside with Doughboy and them. Like, and then my mom wouldn't even, you see what I'm saying? Like, he would make it seem like I was just this badass kid that didn't listen and I deserved to be on punishment and to, course correct this child. She needs to get her phone taken away and she can't go nowhere and don't buy her shit. She don't deserve nothing. Make her clean every fucking thing. Y'all, my chores was to clean the kitchen. And I mean clean like sweep, mop, do the dishes, clean the counters, wipe down the cabinets, wipe down the walls. And I had to clean the kitchen. And on days where I clean the kitchen, like the mop the floor and stuff, because I had to do the dishes every day, but I didn't have to mop the floor every day. So on the days where I had to mop the floor, some way, somehow, I'm mopping the whole downstairs floor. Whatever, cool. I want to go outside, so I'm gonna hurry up and do this. Oh, but then I got to do the clean the bathroom twice a week or 3 times a week. Okay, let me hurry up and do this so that what's the name? Oh no, you got clothes all over your bed. You need to fold them and put them up before you can go. So it's like a Cinderella fucking story. I gotta keep doing shit and doing shit and doing shit so that I can earn my freedom to go the fuck outside and have fun like a kid. I gotta be in this house working like a slave while my mom's at work and you're sitting in here playing the game and not doing shit. I gotta sit around this house and clean while you sit on your ass. Y'all, here's the first deadbeat I've ever seen in my fucking life. And that's why I can't stand y'all niggas that just sit around in a bitch house. I watch my mom fucking damn near take care of this motherfucker. And you think I'm a turn around and have a nigga like that in my house? Nigga, I spit on you. You think you're gonna sit around in my house and not contribute to nothing and you gonna put your feet up and play a game or something and act like you doing something when all you doing is babysitting these fucking kids. And nigga, it's my blood, sweat, and tears that's keeping this bitch up in here. Lights on, food in the fridge, whatever. Man, a bitch nigga could never. Not no. I vowed to myself that I would never, ever, ever have a man like that in my fucking life, especially subject my daughter to dealing with no nigga like that. I be damn, y'all. I am fully mentally prepared to go to jail if a man ever puts his hands on me the way, or puts his hands on me or my daughter the way my stepdad used to put his hands on my mother and me. Now, granted, he did whoop my other siblings a little bit, but it was a little bit. It was a little bit. His fights with my mom were very bad. They used to fist fight, like physically fight. I told y'all, he punched me in my mouth. He would whoop me and I'd have welts all over my fucking body. Like I got to wear certain shit to school so that I don't show that I got welts all over me, like bruising around my neck because he tried to choke me. Like it was a lot of fucking bullshit, y'all. I'm telling you, I would never have a man like that in my life, nigga. I will go to jail. Anyway, so he used to always say he didn't like me. He used to always like tell my mom that I was disrespectful. And then another thing, one day we got into something when I got home from school. I think I was a little older around this time. It probably was like my last year in middle school. I was probably in like 7th or 8th grade. And I forgot what exactly I was getting in trouble for, but me and him started arguing because the older I got, the more argumentative I got. Like the more I saw and the more I didn't like. And I'm like, nigga, I'm not shut. I don't give a fuck if you take my phone away. I don't give a fuck if I'm on punishment. Like y'all, at a certain point, it's like, fuck it. I know I'm gonna get in trouble. So I'm gonna say what I got to fucking say. I don't at this point. I'm not gonna be quiet if I'm gonna still be on punishment. I might as well be on punishment for a fucking reason. We gonna go out. We gonna go out with a fucking bang, my nigga. So he, I got in trouble for something. Me and him started arguing back and forth. My mom was actually there. She was telling us to both shut up, stop, no, blah, 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 blah. So I forgot what happened, but my mom got in between both of us. And y'all, I hit him with my fucking book bag. Y'all know how in high school and in middle school, we used to have like a tote bag that had our books in it to look cute. I swung that shit over my fucking head and mung right on top of his fucking head. And he lucky as those dreads because that shit cushioned that hit. Because if he had a baldy, I would have knocked that nigga the fuck out with them textbooks. Y'all, I swung that shit so high, so fast, and brought that shit down with vengeance. And then my mom like, stop it, y'all. So he trying to reach around my mom to hit me. I fucking put the purse in my other hand and brought it up again and mung. I hit that nigga twice in the head with the bag. But yeah, bitch, back the fuck up. That's when he went downstairs and I'm gonna get my cousins to fuck you up. I'm gonna call my cousin Brittany and he started naming a whole bunch of bitches. And no disrespect to them because I don't know them. So, but yeah, like he was like, oh, I'm gonna call my cousin Brittany, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care, call her. Like he telling my mom, like, yeah, that's why she is the way she is now, because she don't listen to no fucking body. She thinks she grown, she gonna be pregnant by the time she's 16. Y'all, it was just always the same rhetoric. Always that I think I'm grown, I'm disrespectful, I talk back too much, and I'm gonna be pregnant by the time I'm 16. So when I actually turned 16, I begged my mom to let me move with my grandma. And I don't know if my mom remembers this, but the reason why she finally let me move with my grandma, I think, is because I went in her room one day and I told her, Mom, last night I was sitting on the couch watching so and so sleep and I had a bat in my hand and I was thinking about bashing his head in. And she did not take me serious at first. She was like, What? I looked at her and I said, Mom, in the middle of the night, I went downstairs to get something to drink and he was sound asleep on the couch and it made me mad because the TV was on, the game was still on the save screen because he used to play like, fucking Kingdom Hearts and shit on the PlayStation. So it was like saved on one of those screens or wallpapers. And he was just knocked the fuck out on the couch. And I just looked at him and I was like, you don't even deserve to sleep this fucking comfortable. Like, who the fuck are you? And it just like everything he would put me through went through my head. And I just grabbed the stick though. I said the bat, but the stick that was at the back door. And I just sat on the couch because, my mom had a little, what is it called? Like the 1-seater couch that comes with a couch set. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I think it's called a seat, a chair, whatever. I sat on it and I just was staring at him sleep for like a good 10, 15 minutes. And I just kept, like my body kept, my nerves kept, what can I say? My nerves kept jumping because it was my brain telling me to go do it now. Like, so my body kept like jolting. Like, listen, every nerve and bone and piece of fiber in my being wanted to bash that nigga's head in. But something, like I had a second thought and I was like, you know what? Nope. 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 No. I cannot live here no more. I cannot live here no more. Like it just was a thought, like a realization, like, no. Like this man is bringing me so much anger or seeing this man sleep is bringing me this much anger. Hell no, I gotta go. So I remember telling my mom that, and she just was like, "Go ahead, Nana. Like you can move with Willa. You keep asking me, da-da-da." And it was murder she wrote from there. Now I do want to say he was right about me being outside, because bitch, I was out the fuck side. And all my grandmother used to ask me was, do you have your key? Because she was not getting up out of her sleep to come fucking open the door for me when I decided to come home. But you want to know what? My grandmother trusted me. And I think my mom trusted me too. Because let me tell y'all something. My mom didn't know for a while that I was going out to Atlantic City and Pleasantville and staying out till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning and still had school the next day. You want to know why she didn't know? Because my grandma didn't tell her. And also my grades didn't affect a fucking thing. I mean, it didn't affect my grades at all. It didn't affect my grades at all. I would get home around 2 o'clock in the morning. I would get off the bus. The bus stop is about 1.5 miles from where I lived. I lived in a small little city. Ain't much, public transportation. The bus go to the train station and somewhere on the White Horse Pike. But if you live in the village and the bike, you gotta walk. Everybody know that. You gotta walk. If you of course you don't got a car, so you gotta walk. And I used to get home like 2 o'clock in the morning, walk from the bus stop to my house, and I'll get home at like 2:30, 2:45. I would shower real quick, go to sleep, and get on the fucking bus at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:25 in the morning. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And that's why my mom never really knew that I was going out until I got a little bit older. And I was like, it was appropriate age for me to go to the movies with my friends without asking. Like, so when I was like 17, 18, I was out the fuck side. And my grandmother, only thing she asked me was, "Do you have your key?" Yes. She'd be like, "All right, I'll see you later." That's it. That's it. I was so fucking happy to be free from that toxic ass environment. And then him and my mom ended up breaking up or whatever. So, I started going, I didn't move back with my mom, but I started going over there a little bit more often and stuff like that. But then, I had my daughter when I was 19. So I had moved out and did my own thing and shit like that. So, y'all, for real, most of my life, I was dealing with abuse. Like my stepdad was very, very, very abusive, like all types of abuse. And even, I don't want to say, I don't know how to, I think that he did all of this because there was something that he had me do that was inappropriate when I was younger. And I feel like from that moment on, like if I could try to think about the history, I feel like that is where I'll pinpoint when he started treating me like shit. Um, and it wasn't until very recently that I even told anybody this particular story that I'm about to tell y'all. Um, I'm gonna try to do it without crying, but I feel like every time I talk about it, I cry because I have not dealt with it since it happened. Like it'll come across my mind and I'll be like, I should tell, like, okay. So before I tell this story, if anybody is wondering why didn't I say anything, at first I didn't say anything out of fear, and then he was no longer in the picture, so I didn't say anything just because I felt like it was irrelevant and nothing would change. So why even bring it up now? He's no longer with my mom. He doesn't even live here. He's not he hasn't been coming back. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, the monster is gone. So I feel like me telling my mom what he did really didn't matter. Like so many years down the line. But now that every time I talk about it, I cry, it makes me realize, like, damn, that shit really fucked you up. Like, for real, for real. And just to not drag it on for too long, the way I remember this story is he had came home from jail hold on. Matter of fact, y'all, before I tell y'all this story, let me hold on. I need a minute. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to get myself all the way together so that I can make sure that I am prepared to tell this story. So I cannot tell you exactly what age I was. But I was very young and my stepdad had me do something inappropriate to him. I forgot exactly how old I was, like I said, but I remember earlier that day, I had got home from school and my mom was like, "I got a surprise for you in my room, blah, blah, blah." So I, went upstairs all happy because I'm a kid, like, "Ooh, she got me something." She probably got me the soccer bopper thingies that I've been asking for or the new Rugrats, something, something. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a kid. I'm thinking she got me something I asked for. So I go upstairs with her and she takes me in her room and he busts out the closet. He meaning my stepdad. He busts out the closet and was like, "I'm home, y'all." And he had went to jail. And I really wasn't that excited to see him because I thought, it wasn't that I didn't like him at that point. It's just I wasn't excited to see him because I'm just like, oh, it's a nigga. I wanted a toy. It's a nigga. I wanted a toy. I want the, like, okay, hey, welcome back. Now about them rollerblades, like, you know what I mean? So he comes out the closet and surprises us, and I have to act like I'm excited, but in my head I'm like, yay, woo. And really I want to say boo, boring. um so I can't tell y'all the course of that day, but I remember at nighttime either my mom went out or she went to work. I'm more so leaning on she went to work because I think around that time my mom was working 11 to 7. So I think my mom went to work and he stayed at the house and babysat me and my brother. So me and my brother are in our room and he calls me in the other room. I think my brother was there. Like when I remember this story, y'all, I don't remember where my brother was, but I know that my brother was born. And this is my 23-year-old brother I'm talking about. We have a 5-year age gap. So, and I know it didn't happen to me as young as 5. I believe I was around like the ages of like maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, like those years. Because like I said, I was still a little girl and I was developing, but I wasn't like a teenage girl. I know that for a fact. So I believe my brother was in the room. Me and my brother were both in the room, and he had called me in the room. He, meaning my stepdad, had called me in the room and he was like, "You want to play a game? Like, I'm bored, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing on TV. There's no movies or something," he said. And he's like, "You want to play a game?" So, me being a kid, it's late at night. I'm supposed to be asleep for school. Hell yeah, I want to play a game. Nigga, what's up? We about to play Goldfish or we about to play the GameCube? What's up? Like, yeah, I want to play a game. Um, so he said, "You want to play a game?" I say yes. So he described the game to me. He said the game is there will be a spoon with peanut butter and jelly on it that he's gonna put in the room somewhere, and I have to find it with the lights off. So y'all, I start to tear up around this part because I just wish I can go back in the past and tell my younger self, "Bitch, that sounds stupid as hell. Don't believe that. We not playing that game." Like I know I'm crying, y'all, but this is why my way of dealing with like anger or sadness. Like I gotta crack a joke. That's just it makes me feel better. So it's like I really wish that I could go, like I could be behind my younger self as me now and just whisper in her ear and be like, "Bitch, we not playing that game. That game don't make no damn sense." But I didn't have me back then, so I said, "Okay." I mean, I get like I even like thought about that game. I'm like, damn, like I gotta find a spoon with peanut butter on it. Like, and then he was like, "Yeah," and then you have to eat the peanut butter off the spoon, and then the lights. And he's like, "And then I'll turn the lights on." I said, "Okay." Like whatever. So, like I said, I am a kid. It is a game. Yes, to us as adults, it sounds fucking stupid, but I am a kid. Please remember that I am a kid. I am a kid. So it made sense to me some way, somehow, in my kid brain to find a fucking spoon of peanut butter in the room. So he explained the game to me and he told me go in the other room. He was gonna get the peanut butter and hide the spoon, blah blah blah. He'll call me when he's done. All right, whatever. Went, he said, "All right, I'm ready." So when I get in the room, he's just laying on the bed and he's like, "Oh, he was like, I'm just laying on the bed to help you look for it. Like, I don't want to be in your way. So to help you look for it, I'm gonna lay on the bed and turn the light switch on and off for you because the light switch was right there on the nightstand." So I said, "Okay." So he's like, "Let me know when you're ready." So I let him know when I was ready. So he was laying on the right side of the bed. So when he turned the lights off and I closed the door, I started looking on the left side of the room. Like over there, I believe was a long dresser that has 6 drawers. And then my mom's nightstand, and I think her TV was on the long dresser or something. Like I think the tall dresser was on the other side of the room. But yeah, so I start on the one side that he wasn't on just because I can feel more, in that area. I'm like, he's not gonna be laying on the spoon, so I'm gonna look where he's not laying. So he like, "I'm gonna tell you when you getting warmer, or whatever. Just let me know where you at in the room." So I'm telling him like, "All right, I'm feeling the dresser." He like, "You're cold, you're cold." So it wasn't on the left side of the room, y'all. So I go to the right side of the room, like, all right, maybe it's behind this thing over here. Like, I'm like, because there wasn't a lot of stuff on the right side of the room. So I'm like, there's not a lot that he can hide it behind or in. I'm like, maybe he put it in the drawer of the nightstand. So when I thought about that, I had got closer to the nightstand, which is right next to the bed on the side that he's laying on. So he like, oh, you're warm, you're warm. So I'm like, okay, it's in the drawer. I'm starting looking for a drawer. He like, no, you're warm, but you're getting colder. You're getting colder. So he was like, here, I'll grab your hand. Hmm. He said, I'll grab your hand and I'll like tell you if you're warm or not, blah, blah. So I said, okay. So he said, oh my God. So he puts his hands on, he put my hand like on his body. So I'm like, are you laying on it? I'm like, how are you laying on peanut butter? Like, I'm a kid, so I'm just asking silly kid questions, but very valid. I'm like, I'm like, what you laying on it? Like, what is underneath you? I'm like, come on, you got to get up so I can get it. I was like, but I'm not eating the peanut butter. Like, you know what I mean? So he was like, no, you took too long to find it. He was like, but here, I got it. So he let my hand go. He said, but open your mouth. I got it in my hand. Like he was like, here go the spoon right here. Like you won. Y'all, do y'all know when I opened my mouth, he put his dick in my mouth and his dick had peanut butter and jelly on it. And let me tell y'all how I knew it was his dick with the lights off. Because when I hurried up and took my face up, like once I realized that's not a fucking spoon, I hurry up and turn the light on, and he didn't have enough time to put the blanket back over him. So all I saw when I turned the light on was his dick smushed into the band of his pants because he didn't have enough time to hurry up and shove it in his fucking pants all the way. And on his, you know, balled up dick that's stuck in the elastic part, there's peanut butter and jelly all the way up his shaft to the part where his dick comes out of his body. So that's how it was confirmation that this man literally put peanut butter and jelly on his penis and had me look for a spoon just so that I can put his penis in my mouth. Now, I've never talked to him about it. I've never talked to anyone about it up until yesterday. I told my mom. Yesterday, April 7th, 2023, is when I told my mom what happened to me. Like I said, at first, I didn't tell anyone out of fear. Then it just was out of necessity. Like, it's not necessary. It's not going to change anything. He's not here no more. Like, I just feel like the dragon was slayed. Like, I just felt like he was no longer here. So there was there was no reason for me to tell my story. But like I said, I have not been able to tell this story yet without crying, because I realized that even though it's come across my brain or my thought process growing up, and even until this day, I've never actually dealt with it or told anyone. I just hurried up and tried to not think about it. And it like, it kind of disappointed me, like in myself, if that makes sense, for me to wait this long, because I'm like, girl, if anybody ever confronts him about this or hears this, they're probably gonna be like, well, why you wait so long to say it? And it's like, the only thing I can say is at first it was out of fear. And then after that, I just didn't feel like it was necessary. But that's not fair to me to keep this in because it's fucking with me, y'all. For real. That's why I named this episode I Need a Hug. Because I do. I really wish that I can go back and just hug my younger self and tell her she's not alone. I just felt like I didn't have anyone. Like, I felt like no matter what I said or no matter what happened with him, and everybody loved him. Everybody believed what he said. Like, he could do no wrong, and I was lying, or I was being a kid and being disrespectful and talking back. And it's like, no, y'all, like, I'm not tripping. I see this nigga for who he is. I see this nigga for who he is. He's a dark soul and he's lost and he's evil. Like, dead ass. That's the best way for me to describe it. I'm gonna tell y'all how traumatized I am. Like, I just realized this, right? I met a boy. He had dreads. or whatever. He was a little tall, but he didn't look anything like my stepdad. Even though my stepdad growing up, he was tall and had dreads, but the boy didn't look nothing like him. It's just those two characteristics. He was tall and he had dreads. So we meet up. He gives me a hug, and instantly his dreads smelt like my stepdad's dreads growing up. Because sometimes he would make me pick the dandruff from his scalp, with a comb. Yeah, I would have to do that for him. It's like I wasn't able to say no, or I would get in trouble. But his hair, his dreads smelled just like my stepdad's dreads. And that instantly made me fucking angry. Cause I used to hate the smell of his dreads. That boy gave me a hug and it made me so fucking angry, y'all. Like I made a fucking excuse on why I had to leave. Like the fact that years later, years, and I mean years and years, and I haven't seen my stepdad in years. Years and years and years later, I can smell a similar scent on someone, and that shit made me sick to my fucking stomach. I feel so bad for that boy because I never talked to him again. Cause I said hell no. Like I can't, this shit took me to a dark place. I'm not about to be around you and constantly be reminded of my stepdad. I can't. He probably was a great person. And by he, I mean the boy I was talking to. He probably is a great man, but the fact that his dreads smelled like my stepdad's dreads, I never talked to that boy again a day in my life. And that just, me analyzing and really thinking about my actions recently, y'all, my childhood kind of fucked me up. Like, y'all wonder why I'm so like tough and funny and yeah, Suge don't play. I can't play about me. I can't. I can't. I can't. There's no fucking other option. I cannot play about me. Period. I am tough on my own goddamn self. But most importantly, I'm tough on anybody that want to come into my bubble cuz I cannot play about me, y'all. I got to make fucking sure that this is really what like you understand what comes with being in my circle. Whew, I'm sorry, y'all. Cuz it's just like everything is just coming to me like all at once. Everything. All at fucking once. Yo, I just keep fucking crying. So I can't even get through this episode. Um, Let me get myself together and I'm gonna do the outro and stuff for y'all. Hold on. All right, y'all. I want to thank everybody for tuning into this very emotional, very, very personal, very intimate episode of the Need Some Sugar podcast. I hope this, allowed you guys to get to know me a little bit better. I'm glad that I got to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. I'm not gonna lie. See, I'm getting emotional again. This episode was really, really hard for me to record. Like, y'all don't understand how many fucking times I had to stop to cry. Certain stories, certain things I couldn't even get through because it brought up emotions that I haven't, or emotions and feelings that I don't even want to deal with or haven't dealt with ever. So if you got to this point in the episode, I thank you. I love you eternally. Um, I just wanted to also mention, please follow the Instagram. That's Sugar Podcast, SUGGAH Podcast. And also, I have offered. I'm now offering a monthly subscription service. And it's just to support the show. There's a couple options. It's as low as $3, and I think the most is $10. It'll charge you monthly. All my episodes will be available to you whether you pay or not. So the subscription service is just for support. You don't get any additional benefits. However, if I do get enough subscribers, I will start to charge a little bit more so that you guys can get bonus episodes. And those episodes are, going to be very personal and just like, girl time and sister time and, family kitchen table talk time, shit like that. So, y'all, I'm like mentally drained. Like I might go to sleep early tonight because that took a lot out of me. But I can say I am starting to feel better. I just told myself I'm going to take today and I'm just going to cry my fucking eyes out. And I took today and guess what I did? I cried my fucking eyes out. And I'm starting to feel better. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that because I be trying so hard not to cry, and sometimes you need a good cry so you can get back to fuck up and say what's up. All right, what's next? Once again, thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe if you have it. If you don't, the support, just share. That is for free. You can share it on any social media site. Just share, let people know your favorite podcast. Let people know that you're listening to the Need Some Sugar podcast and it's the best podcast on the planet and they're missing out and their mom's asshole stinks. And yeah, but I love y'all. And always remember, it's good, but it needs some sugar. Bye.